Hello everyone, welcome to Homework Help. If you find the videos useful, please subscribe to the channel. So in this video, we have to solve this trigonometry equation. The equation is minus 10 cos square x minus sin x plus 9 equals 0, and we are given the domain for the equation that x can be any angle between 0 and 2 pi, including 0 and 2 pi. Now the given domain is in radians. That means our final answer for x should be in radians, not degrees. So now we have to solve this equation. Now we can see that in this equation there are two different trig ratios, cos and sine, but there is a square on the cos. So the first step here is to change this cos square x into sine so that there is only one trig function in the equation, and for that we'll use the Pythagorean identity. So we'll replace cos square x with 1 minus sine square x, because that's the Pythagorean identity, that cos square x is equal to 1 minus sine square x. Now the other terms stay the same. Now there is only one type of trig ratio in this equation, which is sin x. So we can simplify this equation. So the first step is to distribute negative 10 into the parentheses. So we get negative 10 times 1, which is equal to negative 10. And then negative 10 times negative sine square x, which is equal to plus 10 sine square x. And the other terms stay the same. Now we can combine the number terms. So negative 10 and plus 9 are like terms. So we can combine them. So the sine terms will stay the same. So 10 sine square x minus sine x. And now we can combine negative 10 plus 9, which is equal to minus 1 equals 0. Now this is a quadratic equation because there is a square on the sine x and there is a sine x term. So I can rewrite this. So this is one way to understand this equation, that this is a quadratic equation. Some teachers also use the substitution method to replace the trig ratio with another variable, but the idea is the same, that we have to solve the quadratic equation. So as you may know, there are two ways to solve a quadratic equation. We can either factor it or use the quadratic formula. Now we cannot factor this equation, so we'll have to use the quadratic formula. So here we are solving for sine x. So we can write the quadratic formula as sine x equals. So now we can write the quadratic formula negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now we can sub in the values of a, b and c. So a here is the coefficient of the square term, so a is equal to 10. B is the coefficient of the sine term, which is negative 1. So there is an invisible 1 in front of sine x. And c is the number term, which is negative 1. So now we can sub in the values in this formula. So we get sine of x equals, so minus negative 1 because b is negative 1, and then plus minus, so b square, which is negative 1 square minus 4 times the a value, which is 10, and times the c value, which is negative 1. And then in the denominator we get 2 times 10. And now we can continue with the calculation on the right side. So we have to simplify this expression. So we'll start by simplifying the terms under the square root. So in the first term, minus negative 1 becomes positive 1. And under the square root, so negative 1 square is just 1. And then negative 4 times 10 is negative 40. And negative 40 times negative 1 is positive 40. So we get 1 plus 40 over 20. Now we can add the numbers under the square root and evaluate the square root. So basically we have to evaluate square root of 41, which is equal to 6.4. So I'm rounding the answer to 1 decimal place. We get two cases. So we get a positive case and we get a negative case. So sin x. So for the positive case we get 1 plus 6.4 over 20. And the negative case is sin x equals 1 minus 6.4 over 20. So now we can evaluate the positive case. So sin x is equal to, so 1 plus 6.4 is 7.4, and then we divide 7.4 by 20. So I got 0.37. And for the negative case, so we do 1 minus 6.4, which is equal to negative 5.4, and then we divide the result by 20. So I got negative 0.27. So these are the two equations we have to solve to find the value of x in the given interval 0 to 2 pi. So now we'll have to use the CAST rule, the ASTC rule, or the all sad turtles cry rule. So let's start with the positive case. So we'll start by identifying the quadrants in which x can lie. So sine is a positive value, so that means it can be quadrant 1 or quadrant 2. For quadrant 1, so we'll do, so x equals the inverse of sine 0.37. So we are solving the positive case first. Now here the answer should be in radians. So in our calculator we can do the inverse of sine of 0.37, which is equal to 0.38. So I'm rounding the answer to 2 decimal places. So 0.38 radians. So this is the first solution. Now for the second solution in quadrant 2, we'll do x equals pi minus 0.38, which is equal to, so now we can use the calculator, pi minus 0.38. So again I'm rounding the answer to 2 decimal places, 2.76 radians. So this is the second solution. So these are the two solutions we get from the positive case. Now we can analyze the negative case. I can use a different color for that. So for the negative case, so first we have to identify the quadrants. So sine is negative in quadrants 3 and 4. So the first step is to find the reference angle or the related acute angle, and for that we'll do the inverse of sine of positive 0.27. So for the reference angle or the related acute angle, we ignore the negative sign. So we get 0.27 radians. So this is the reference angle or the related acute angle. And now we can find the x value in quadrant 3, which will be equal to pi plus 0.27, which is equal to 3.41 radians. So this is a solution in quadrant 3. So this is the third solution of the equation. And for the fourth solution in quadrant 4, we'll do 2 pi minus 0.27. And I got 6.01 radians. So this is the fourth solution. So this equation in total has 4 solutions in the given interval 0 to 2 pi. So I hope you'll find this video useful. Please share it, like it, and subscribe to Homework Help. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.